This is the Ecwid Ecommerce Show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard O'Tay.
All right, Ecwid user, first, I know you're listening right now, and I want to apologize because we didn't change that intro, and Jesse's not here with me today. Today, it's just going to be me, Richie, and an old guest that we had on the show, and an old guest with great new ideas. One of the developers that Ecwid has in Denver crowd, and today we're going to have Alex Shoup, who's been on the show before, and we're going to actually be covering today a new way to, let's just say, we want to cover nonprofits. I've been thinking about this for a while. There's many ways you can use Ecwid, and one of the most important things we like to accomplish on this podcast is just to keep the mind bubbling of all the possible ways that we can use it, and we can help our communities, and we can help just, we can grow a business and we can make money while helping people help people. And I thought with what we all went through in this last year, why not? That sounds like a great thing to cover. So welcome back to the show, Alex. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Rich. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, it's been an interesting year. Glad to see it's moving forward. Jesse and I joked last week that when California is opening up, that we know something's getting better now. I know there's all kinds of stuff. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of possibilities. So we'll stay in the positive note of possibilities now, and kind of cover. We got quite a few. This isn't just one nonprofit. I asked you to let me know if I said, wow, I thought you were just going to send over one nonprofit, and we're going to take a look at four. Well, not really a look, but we're going to discuss four different ones. And first, I just wanted to ask you in general, when it comes to nonprofits, what is it about Ecwid specifically that's helped you accomplish in these four completely different verticals, helping them transition? And then we'll get a little bit deeper dive into each one as we move forward here.
Sure. I think that what definitely connects all 501c3s or all nonprofits, regardless of their status, is the need for fundraising and the need to reach out to people and connect with people. So our Ecwid store for us has definitely been a way to gather donations, to raise funds in other ways through merchandise sales and event sales and things like that. And it's also been a way to get people connected and to have them rally behind their favorite organization or around their local community.
Yeah, one of the ones that I really liked that you were referring to, let me actually bring it up here on the screen. Well, I won't reference anything particular, but it was the City Greens produce. I thought that was a very interesting scenario. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Oh, and by the way, I will put all of these URLs in the show notes to help give whatever love we can. I'm not sure if people are in the area and can order produce, how far you ship it. So you can go in detail on that. But regardless, I want to help support these. And so we'll make sure to get a copy of that in all the show notes. But let's go ahead and start with City Greens Market first.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. City Greens Market, they are a 501c3 nonprofit in St. Louis, Missouri, actually in St. Louis's Forest Park Southeast neighborhood. And that area, just to give a little background, that area has historically been a food desert, which is an area that has very limited access to affordable and nutritious food. So there may be some local 7-Elevens that sell snacks and junk food, but not a lot of fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, meats, grains, things like that. Historically in the United States, and particularly in St. Louis, food deserts appear in lower income neighborhoods. And in St. Louis in particular, these are also neighborhoods where people of color reside. So for City Greens, this issue of attacking food deserts and bringing affordable, sustainable, delicious foods was not just like an issue of socioeconomic status, but it's also an issue of race in St. Louis. So a really important issue. And I was just browsing Facebook, scrolling through at the beginning of the pandemic, and I saw a video that a friend posted on Facebook and learned about this organization that was really struggling to fulfill their mission of providing healthy, safe, delicious foods to people during COVID. The struggle was grocery stores are crowded places. People need to get together to look at the foods that they're purchasing or walk down an aisle. Everything's a struggle when you're trying to stay 6 feet apart in a grocery store. Went to their website, saw how they were trying to deal with this, which was a Google form. If you can imagine a Google form with hundreds of grocery items on there, organized alphabetically, that you go in and you check off 2 apples and 3 packages of cheddar cheese and some pears, whatever. And then they total it and you pick up your order. And it didn't seem like a smooth way to do this. I thought there's got to be a better way. So we approached City Greens with the idea of building out a digital checkout process on Ecwid that would accomplish quite a few challenges. So obviously the first challenge is they are a grocery store. They don't just sell one piece of bread and a meat, they sell hundreds of products. So how do we get all these products? The second was store organization. So in a grocery store, you have aisles. It's pretty clear, or maybe not when I shop, but for most people, it's pretty clear where you're supposed to be going to find your pasta or cereal or whatever. The next issue was the checkout process. At City Greens Market, members and non-members paid different prices. Not only that, but how do we keep them 6 feet apart? So there's kind of all of these issues there. And then the pickup. We are in a pandemic. We can't have everyone showing up, say, at 5 p.m. when they get out of their day jobs, or at 3 p.m. when school lets out to pick up groceries. We can't be having large groups of people mingling in a small building. So we needed to figure out a way to get these foods to this vulnerable at-risk population, but also manage a way that they're not all coming at once. So we built out a simple online store with basic functionality, or a simple website with basic functionality, with kind of an advanced Ecwid Ecommerce store. And we did a few things to accomplish our goals. So the first thing, we imported all those products, which was, they had their Google spreadsheet. So we basically just exported it, turned it into a CSV, and imported it into Ecwid using Ecwid's CSV uploader, which was really nice. We had the prices already there. The names were already there. All we had to do was organize them. So that was our next step, figuring out what are our aisles or categories. What I liked about the Ecwid system is, let's say you're looking for ice cream at a grocery store. At a grocery store, it could maybe be in the frozen foods, maybe it'll be in the dairy, but it's not going to be in both. It's going to be one or the other. Well, what's nice about Ecwid is we could have these products in multiple categories. So if you think ice cream is in dairy, great, so do we. It'll be in dairy, but it'll also be in the frozen food section and in the dessert section and wherever else may be appropriate. So that was one way that kind of we helped accomplish a nice organization process for the store. The next was the checkout process. And this took a little bit of figuring out. We wanted to allow non-members to check out and pay what they normally would price, but also allow members to get their unique discount that's associated with their member ID. So what we did is we set up unique coupon codes in Ecwid associated with each member's user ID, and then they get the appropriate discount based on their income level. So based on your income level, you pay a certain price for the produce. So this allowed us to have particular people getting the exact rates they would want without having to call in the store and say, what's the price on this or whatever. They put in their code, it applies all the discounts automatically to the correct products. The last piece here was the pickup scheduling, which was also a little bit complex. Ecwid already has built in a pickup scheduler, which is awesome. It allows customers to make their order and then select the time and day of pickup for their products. What it didn't accomplish for us was limiting these time slots. So if everyone gets out of school at 3, maybe 3:30 p.m., we see everybody in the neighborhood, which during COVID we should not be encouraging that. So we built a custom pickup scheduler that limited time slots. So only 2 customers per every 15-minute period. So still 8 customers an hour, not a small amount of customers, but we are buffering them a bit so that we are not experiencing really busy times with lots of customers coming in and potentially spreading a deadly virus during a pandemic.
No, I love that on many levels. First, thanks for helping out. Like, again, it's one of the reasons why I wanted you back on the show. You're a business. You want to make money, but it's very obvious in my speaking with you over time, not just on the podcast here, that you actually care about the community, and just the way you even told the story. Obviously, you were trying to help. I doubt this was a high margin project or anything. So,
You're right.
but what I also love, just in the story itself, for those that aren't actually watching it, but you're listening, I have the banner behind me that talks about Ecwid Ecommerce Made Easy. And it is. I mean, the majority of everything you said there was easy, but what was not easy for an individual, let's just say, to potentially do, was sound like not too difficult for you to do. So I just wanted to be a reminder to the community out there that there are Ecwid experts that can help you with some things if you want to do some tweaking, that even though you can get it up and running and do things relatively easy in a few clicks with Ecwid, hey, if you have another idea, or if you ran into a situation like this where you needed a limited amount of people to come in at the same time, there are developers out there that can help you out. So that was fantastic too. And then thirdly, I love the analogy of the grocery store and the aisles, because you can be in two places at once when you're digital, right? Like in that store, there would be way too much inventory, but this isn't an inventory issue, right? This is a presentation issue and how that gets displayed. So for those who are just thinking about dairy, or maybe they're like, the way they want to search can still lead them to find the product that they want. And that's a really cool use case, and a great reminder for other people, or even if it's not a nonprofit, that your customers could be searching in a different way than you think they're searching. And because you can be in a couple places at once when it comes to digital, why not? Why not think out that structure like that? So your store is built on not just how you think it should be searched, but how your customers may actually really want it to be searched. So yeah, I really like that. And again, thanks for helping out there. That sounds like a really cool project. How far do they ship, by the way? I'd love to place an order. I just don't know.
Oh, they're local. So it's
okay.
Pick up, or it's you come in and you get your groceries. But
all right, maybe I'll
just in St. Louis, let me know. I'll hook you up with some tomatoes.
Awesome. I'll donate regardless.
Yeah, there you go.
And then let's go ahead and cover one of your other ones. How about that Redemption Road Fitness? What do they got going on over there?
Sure. Yeah, they are a incredibly unique organization that also has been deeply impacted by COVID. Redemption Road is a group run by a bunch of CrossFit enthusiasts that go into federal prisons in Colorado and Nebraska and Kansas, and they actually do CrossFit with these. They call them their inmate athletes. So these are men and women that are serving time. Some of them a lot of time for crimes they've committed, and they are in this program that is focused on mental and physical rehabilitation. So not just building these guys up physically to be strong, but teaching them about the value of hard work and perseverance and working together and supporting one another. So it's a really, really awesome organization that was not on my radar before they contacted us at all. I'd never heard of anything like it, but it's such a very interesting and unique and cool way to give back to, again, a very underserved community in the United States.
So what is it exactly? Because if I remember correctly, when we first spoke, there was a unique use case in this for, I believe it was, say, you're doing some of the maybe content, or you're doing something and you have a team member that's working somewhere else. They're working in some capacity with someone offsite too. What was that again?
Yeah, the fulfillment for this organization's products is super unique. So they sell T-shirts and hats and other merchandise to promote and make funds for the organization. And these are actually produced and printed in one of the prisons that they work with. So they have a prison. I'm not sure if you call it a workshop or maybe a screen printing shop in the prison. And when orders are made, they are directly printed and fulfilled in the prison and shipped out from with the inmates do all the work and ship this stuff out, which is a very interesting way of fulfilling products. The reason that I think it's applicable to other nonprofits or really any other organization that's selling merchandise is because there's this idea of drop shipping. It doesn't matter if your fulfillment team is in a prison or if they're just in another building down the street or if they're a t-shirt manufacturer or if they're printful.com or something like that. There are opportunities for organizations and businesses to make money by selling merchandise without actually physically handling it themselves. This organization doesn't have all the time, resources needed to fulfill these orders, to print them out, to ship them out, to get them to the customers. So working with another fulfillment expert, whether it is the guys printing the shirts in the prison, or it's a t-shirt manufacturing expert or an intern or another member of your team, it can be an incredibly useful tool for somebody that is looking to raise more funds or raise more awareness for the organization. So the way that we accomplish this in Ecwid is simply by making the store order notification emails go to the team that is processing it in that prison. So they get the order notification email and they create the shirt and they fulfill it and they send it out. So it's a very unique, but also a very widely applicable way to drop ship.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's just, again, so cool. Like the theme that I just love again is we can actually, it's not an either or scenario, not someone wins and someone loses, right? This sounds like, oh man, it starts out there in prison and this and that. It's like, but let's think about it for a second. Anyone that's an entrepreneur, and especially if you've been an entrepreneur for a while, you realize that the majority of the hard part is the mindset, right? And the potential to be in a prison and not come out with a different mindset is probably pretty high. I've never worked with them, but I would imagine just reading, I'm probably say the name wrong, but it's recidivism or something like that. Like when you go right back again, I believe that's the right word. If not, I'll put the correct word in the show notes. You know, but a lot of that is they go back to their same environment and they still have the same mindset. Yeah, they served the time, but they didn't really learn anything new. They didn't change the perception. And so there's a lot of really cool potentials to come out of this. I want to keep an eye on them. It'd be interesting to see as they grow this, if there's an opportunity as maybe if some of these guys ever get out or gals get out, if they could go to work with that company and help. Like, so I definitely want to keep an eye and please let me know as you know more. I'm always interested in these type things.
But it's a cool organization to me because even this topic is a little taboo. Talking about it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. Referring to people factually as prisoners makes me uncomfortable. These are inmate athletes, is kind of our respectful name for them. And the United States has more people in prison than any other country. I think we have 26% of the world's population incarcerated in America. So certainly a problem that is a big problem, not going away today or tomorrow. So the idea of being able to work with some of these people who are incarcerated to better their lives and improve themselves is really appealing to me, even though it is, again, a bit of a kind of taboo subject.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you bringing that up, but it's not all subjects are easy subjects.
Yeah.
And, don't want to, go political or, even jump on either side. But, I think about that when I've watched debates, again, regardless of side, it's like, wait a minute, whatever happened to this trying to be something about bringing the greater good? It seems like just slander sessions at each other, again, on both sides. So I'm not trying to pick a side here either. So it's really, it's refreshing. And I hope, listener, that you are listening right now. I'm talking to you again. I hope you understand and you've experienced in your life that sometimes it just takes tough conversations. And again, if you're an entrepreneur and you're going down this road, it's not just talking about prisons or, race or any of the other things. There's a lot of tough decisions you have to make. And so I like how we're getting into a little bit of just real life conversations here in the midst of this too. But yeah, I definitely want to keep in touch with you on how they continue on that. That'd be interesting to watch. And then also more help with more people who've been helping us. We have Veterans to Farmers. What do they got going on?
Yeah, totally. This is another favorite nonprofit of mine. They are a 501c3 based in Colorado. They work with U.S. veterans from all over the country. Their kind of tagline is turning protectors into providers. So they offer veterans training and everything so it's all sustainable farming operations, but everything from business planning and operations to growing and harvesting to taking that to market or working with restaurants to sell it or whatever. So they're teaching these veterans that are often leaving the service with not a lot of kind of job prospects. They're teaching them a way to continue the work they were doing, supporting our community, but instead of protecting us, they are providing for us. So a really cool, awesome, local to us, we're in Denver, organization that focuses on veterans, but also on sustainable local food operations, which is something that I've touched on a couple times here, and I'm super passionate about. They work with some organizations like Denver Botanic Gardens, Chatfield Farms, and Altius Farms, which is a really awesome, sustainable greens producer in downtown Denver. And they give veterans this super holistic, hands-on experience. Again, everything from the beginning to the end of food operations. And it's free for the veterans. So a really awesome organization. They're growing. They just won a couple of really amazing grants from some awesome government institutions and things, and a really cool organization. But the challenge for them, and that we've accomplished we've accomplished using Ecwid, was how do we kind of connect this community, and also how do we fundraise and generate donations and generate funds for our organization. So we have used Ecwid. The first thing is, of course, selling merchandise. Two goals here. One is there's a lot of people, especially in the veteran community, who are really super proud of this organization. So giving them the opportunity to buy a shirt or buy a hat or whatever and wear it, and also provide the organization with some funds, is really awesome. We have something for sale in the store called challenge coins. And I didn't know about these before. I'm actually on the board of the organization. I didn't know about these before joining the organization, but they are in the military community. It's a little coin with, sometimes it's literally a silver dollar, but in this case, it's a printed coin with the Veterans to Farmers logo on it that recognizes a veteran for the hardships they've gone through, how they've supported their community, or it kind of challenges them to step up to the next big thing. So really awesome way to keep veterans involved and supporting one another is by selling these shirts and hats and challenge coins. And then the other piece too is this organization has a really awesome mission, but educating and supporting veterans is not inexpensive. It's certainly not free. So building donations has been a really important part of working with this organization. We use Ecwid for this. So the first is, of course, we have products in our store for donations. Something recently that we've added from Ecwid that has been really awesome is the subscription boxes. So a lot of, I'm sure, companies, businesses use them for subscription boxes monthly, but we actually use them for subscription donations. So if you want to support a veteran through the entire year, his entire couple of years of training with Veterans to Farmers, you can sign up and purchase on our Ecwid store a $100 a month subscription box that will cover all the costs for one veteran to be trained and educated for the year. So a really awesome way to use that. And what's nice about all of these products is we do a monthly email marketing email, and we use MailChimp. And Ecwid's integration with MailChimp allows us to directly pull those products in so that we can say, not only talk about the products we have in our store and talk about the hats and challenge coins and shirts and options to donate one time or on a recurring basis, but we can import those products in, bring them in visually, and make kind of a one-click purchase or a one-click checkout process to make that experience a lot more seamless. So a really, really awesome way we're able to accomplish some of those goals using Ecwid for veterans to farmers.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like you're using both subscription based when it comes to the donations and whatever someone feels like providing a kind of open-ended donation as well.
Yeah. In the veteran community, I mean, in any community in the United States, there's a broad range of incomes and budgets and things like that. So we want to make sure that no matter how someone wants to support veterans to farmers, they can do that. If they can afford $100 every month, that's fantastic. If they can afford a $5 donation right now, that we are grateful for that too. If you want to buy a hat and support us that way, that is a really, really important thing to us as well. So there's a lot of ways to support an organization. For an organization like Veterans to Farmers, of course, funds are important, but also just as important is raising awareness about this organization to other veterans, to other sustainability and farming-based communities. In Colorado, especially, that food sustainability community is a very large one. So raising awareness and connecting with companies and nonprofits and individuals and institutions surrounding that industry is super important for them.
Love it. Love it. All right. I know I want to be cognizant of your time here, and we're running a little close to the top of the hour. So I wanted to cover one other one that, let me pull up the screen here. I believe it was Bora. It was
Bora.
Yeah. Bailey Outdoor Education and Recreation Area. What's unique with how you were helping them out?
Yes, another really awesome organization. They are another 501c3 nonprofit. They are in Bailey, Colorado, off of the 285 corridor, so about an hour southwest of Denver. And they are a school property, or a school-owned property that's managed by a small group of volunteers that has a disc golf course, hiking and running trails, and mountain biking trails, all sorts of things. So it's just a opportunity for people to go recreate outside. Their disc golf course is actually a like internationally award-winning acclaimed disc golf course. It's really incredible. And the proceeds from all of the disc golf people, the hiking and running people, the mountain biking people, go towards supporting the local school district and local kids through grants and scholarships. And the way that this money was traditionally collected was via, they had a cash box on the property, and you're supposed to leave $5 in the box when you go there, when you hike. And it worked great. They did collect a lot of cash, but it was really cumbersome. If you can imagine collecting, like, over the course of a year, thousands of groups of $1 bills. It just, getting that, collecting it, counting it, bringing it to the bank. It's a very cumbersome process. So what we wanted to do for Bora was provide a digital checkout process. So we built on Bora's Ecwid store a system to collect daily pass fees or annual passes, and also collect donations or tickets for events. One of the ways that they raise money is through having events on the property. So over the last couple of years, instead of we have replaced several thousand of those day passes with digital day passes, instead of collecting, again, like $1 bills and having to bring them to the bank. So a really, really awesome solution for Bora. Not everybody always carries cash on them, so giving people another opportunity to contribute or donate or pay for their day of disc golf was a really awesome opportunity for Bora.
It's awesome. Again, I'm noticing some common themes. So we have the obvious common theme of we're talking about all nonprofits, right? But I also heard multiple common themes, and it's kind of what I wanted to help do with you and what you're doing over there at Denver Crowd, helping out these nonprofits. Is it starts with awareness. If no one knows about you and your store or your mission or your message or whatever it is you're trying to get out in the world, you're going to have a hard time. So whether it's word of mouth, whether it's advertising, whether it's getting on a podcast, whatever it might be, it starts with awareness. 2, people need help. So again, as amazingly easy as Ecwid is, someone might want some help with some things. So we wanted to put a spotlight on one of the developers, again, that was really good at helping people out. And so please, we'll put their URL in the show notes as well. And please reach out to Alex and his team over at Denver Crowd if you need some help. We also have another list on Ecwid, but hey, on this podcast, I'm talking about Alex and his team. And then thirdly, I wasn't really thinking about this prior to going in, but it's just that everyone, we touched on it a little earlier, everyone goes through the world with their own perspective and their way of doing things. And so as it unfolded on this podcast, whether it's the shopping and we're talking about the dairy and the milk in 2 different sections because they're looking for it for their own unique possibility, or whether it's Bora and people don't have cash on them and you help them potentially maybe even use one of their employees or volunteers to do something different than get in a car and drive and go collect cash. And I'm sure not everybody, I'm sure that cash box got messed with a couple times or at least tried to. So, it just prevents a lot of other things from potentially going on or crime. So it's just, it's fantastic. So there's just so many themes that are relative regardless if somebody is doing a nonprofit. And again, just wanted to point out that this isn't an either or thing. People don't have to lose when you're winning. We all can win. And this was a great example. And I hope you are feeling that we're really just trying to open up to possibility of that, whatever you are trying to do, that with Ecwid and the Ecwid community, that you can get it out there, especially if you're willing to put in the time and willing to ask for help in the areas you can't. And so I just want to say thanks again for doing what you do, Alex, and thanks for coming back on the show. Always appreciate your time. Sounds like you got a lot of other projects going on too, so your time is greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always a pleasure to chat with you. Hope to do many more podcasts with you.
Awesome. All right, Alex, have a great day.
Hey, this is Jesse and Rich. We want to let you know we really appreciate you listening.
We hope you find the tips we give you helpful for growing your business.
You can find all of our past episodes and a lot more useful stuff at ecwid.com/podcast.
And also, check us out on your favorite podcasting platform like Apple Podcast or Stitcher. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing.
Be sure to let us know what you think by rating and reviewing so we can serve you better.
So subscribe on your favorite platform.
And come join our community, check out the transcripts, or tell us why you would be a great guest at ecwid.com/podcast.